In the narrow, soot-smudged streets of Victorian and early 20th century England, the cries of rag and bone rang out as a familiar call. These were the rag and bone men, figures often seen pushing handcarts piled with society's cast-offs, with no horse, no grandeur, and little recognition. They worked at the back alleys and working-class districts, collecting rags, bones, metal, bottles, and scraps in exchange for a few coins or sometimes just survival. These men, often poor laborers or urban scavengers, collected discarded household items, especially rags, bones, old metal, and other scrap materials, using handcarts or horse-drawn wagons. Though often overlooked, their work played a key role in early recycling and waste management. Rags were highly valuable in the pre-industrial and early industrial age. Cotton and linen rags were sold to paper mills, where they were pulped and turned into high-quality paper. Before wood pulp became the dominant raw material, rags were essential to paper production. Bones, on the other hand, served several surprising purposes. Once boiled, bones were processed into glue, used in carpentry and bookbinding. The remaining bone material could be ground into bone meal, which was used as fertilizer or in refining sugar. Even ashes collected from hearths had value, used in soap making or as a cleaning agent. These men occupied the lowest rung of the social ladder. Often dressed in patched clothes and worn boots, they owned no horse, only a battered handcart and a sharp eye for salvage. Some operated alone, others brought children to help. They lived hard lives, often in slums or overcrowded lodging houses, eking out a bare living in an era before public sanitation or welfare. The trade flourished in the 19th century, when rapid urbanization, industrial waste, and limited waste disposal created the perfect conditions. Cities like London, Manchester, and Birmingham teemed with opportunity for those willing to dirty their hands. In some cases, rag and bone men became small-scale dealers, selling to merchants or middlemen who ran junk shops or scrapyards. By the mid-20th century, however, the trade began to fade. The rise of formal waste collection, mass production, synthetic materials, and changing attitudes toward refuse made the job less viable. Fewer people saved bones, fewer mills needed rag pulp. By the 1980s, rag and bone men were all but gone, though some lingered on into the 1990s, calling out from rusty vans rather than handcarts. Though seen as marginal and grimy, rag and bone men were early recyclers, salvaging, reusing, and repurposing in a world that wasted little. In today's world of environmental concern and recycling awareness, their role deserves fresh respect. They were not just scavengers but resourceful survivors, turning trash into trade. Long before recycling bins lined the curb, from the heyday of hand-pulled carts to their quiet disappearance, rag and bone men remind us that sustainability once began at street level, at the bottom of the pile.